All right. So, looking at data, how do we tell if it is normal? There's a couple different things that we can do. So here are 50 of the current AP students' Chapter 1 test scores. These are not from our school. These are from a different school. They're Chapter 1 test scores. I'm sorry, I thought I heard something fall, but then I couldn't see it, so I looked down and I was like, I don't know where it went. How do we figure out if it's approximately normal? Because only if it's approximately normal can we do that normal CDF and all those pieces. If it's not approximately normal, we're kind of dead in the water. We can't do any analysis of it. So what are some things that I might be able to do to check to see if this is approximately normal? What do you guys think? Find the what? Find the mean. Anything else? I can make a graph of it. I can make a dot plot of it. If I find the mean, what would I want to do with the mean? Because, I mean, I can find the mean for any data set, right? I can find the IQR. That's going to tell me about my middle 50%. In a normal curve, what should be true about the mean and the median? They should be the same, or approximately the same, right? Because, again, we're going, is this approximately normal? So I can make a dot plot of this data and see if it has that bell-shaped curve to it. We could do the mean and the median and see how close those are to each other. We could look to see if it follows the 68, 95, 99.7 rule. What is the 68, 95, 99.7 rule? What's 68%? Yep. One standard deviation mean away from the mean on either side. So if I calculate the standard deviation, I could put all this in my graphing calculator, and I could use that to calculate the standard deviation. If that captures about 68% of all of these test scores, and then 2 standard deviations out should capture how much? About 95% of all the test scores. 3 standard deviations out, 99.7. So something close-ish to 100%, right? So because this is a lot right here, and I don't want to spend all of our time entering data into the calculator, I put all this information into my graphing calculator already, and we're going to run these statistics here. There's my graphing calculator. So I went to Stat, and I went to Edit, and then in this first list, I have all those test scores, so all the way down to 50. I'm not going to scroll through them all, but you guys see I put those all in there. How do I make it calculate things like the mean and the median and the standard deviation? Does anybody remember what I do? Stat, and then over to Calc. One variable, because it was just test scores. One variable stats, so I'm going to hit Enter. Yours doesn't have this prompt. It's just asking where the data is coming from. All right, so my mean, my X bar, 79.76. The median is 79.5. Do those strike you as reasonably close together? 79.5, 79.76. Pretty close to the same. What's our standard deviation, SX? 10.03, right? 10.02, 10.03 is our standard deviation. Hold on, let me get this out of the way real quick, because I also have this. I put all that same information in over here, because I want to be able to look at this a little bit differently. Your graphing calculators can do a whole lot. It can make some graphs for us. I'll show you where that is here in just a second. But it won't do dot plots. So I put all that information in here. I can look at that dot plot. Does that dot plot look approximately bell-shaped? Yeah, approximately. Mean 79.76, median 79.5, standard deviation 10.026, 10.03. Same basic piece, right? Just rounded slightly differently. Let me see if I can fit this piece up on the screen here. 79.76 is the mean. The median is 79.5. Where did my thing go? It disappeared. Oh, I hate it when it does this. All right, hold on. Is it back up yet? No, I don't know why it's not back up yet. Hold on. Now it's going to make me do this. Sorry, guys. It like totally killed my program, and I don't know why. So the mean was, what, 79.76? So right about here. One standard deviation away on either side, so adding and subtracting 10.03 from the mean would put it 69.73 and 89.79. That captures 36 out of those 50 test scores. 36 dots in there. That's 72%. Is that about 68%? It's a little bit off, but it's about-ish. 2 standard deviations away. Now I'm at 46 out of those 50 test scores. 46 out of 50, that's 92%. Close to 95, right? 99.7, 3 standard deviations away, that's 50 out of 50. That's 100% of the test scores. Close to 99.7. So about following that 68, 95, 99.7 rule. This idea down here, it's called a normal probability plot. This is another way that we can check for normality. And this way is faster than these 3, looking for normality. What I'm looking for, and I'll show you this normal probability plot on what we were just doing and how to get to it on the graphing calculator. If the normal probability plot is approximately linear, it has a line-like shape to it, then that tells me that my distribution is approximately normal. So let's see if this thing's going to cooperate for me. So I'll bring that back up. Okay, good. It's working. So right here, I'm in Staplet, by the way, that program that we've used before. Right here where it says dot plot, if I click on that, the very last option is normal probability plot. Do you guys see how it has a very linear shape to it? They even have the line of best fit back there in the background. If I look at my graphing calculator, to make the graphing calculator do graphs, pull yours out and follow along with me. I want to make sure everybody knows how to get to these buttons. You're going to do second and y equals. Second and y equals right here. Do you guys see how in blue words up at the top it says stat plot? We're accessing those stat plots. Hit enter when it's over number 1. You need to turn it on. It's probably turned off on yours. Some of them it might be turned off, some of them it might be turned on. You want it to be highlighted and flashing on the on. If it's not, then you hit enter while it's hovering over on. Yours should look just like this. Right down here are all the different types of graphs that we can do. Unfortunately, it won't tell you as you hover over them. This first one is a scatter plot. We'll use scatter plots here in, I don't remember whether it's chapter 3 or chapter 4. We'll learn how to do scatter plots. Then we have a line plot. Again, that's something that we'll learn how to do later. Here's a histogram. We can make it give us a histogram of the data. This next one over is a modified box plot. That's where they do the outliers as stars. Fifth one over, this is a box plot, not the modified. So maximum and minimum are the ends of my whiskers, whether there's outliers or not. And this very last one is a normal probability plot. Since I already have all the data in my calculator, I'm going to show you the normal probability plot on my graphing calculator. So I have this one selected. I'm going to hit enter. and then I want it to show it to me, and I want it to be zoomed in enough that I can see it, but not so zoomed in that I'm missing some of the picture. So I'm going to hit zoom right here. Do you see how option number 9 says zoom stat? That means for whatever kind of stat graph you want it to make, it's going to size the window properly. So I'm going to choose option number 9. There's my normal probability plot. If you are ever asked if the data is approximately normal, they give you a data set and you want to do normal probability plot calculations. You want to be able to put it into your calculator with the normal CDF. You would have to justify, I know this data is approximately normal, if they don't tell you that already. Putting it into your graphing calculator and having this normal probability plot and sketching it off to the side, like here's the plot my graphing calculator gave me, it's approximately linear, so I know my data is approximately normal. And then you can continue rolling forward with stuff. Real quick, just so you guys can see some of these other graphs. Come on. Let's look at the histogram. So enter, zoom, 9. There's our histogram for this data. Does it have that bell-shaped curve to it? Yes. All right, so hopping back to here. Big ideas to check for normality. We can graph it. We can compare the mean and the median. They should be very close together. We can use our 68, 95, 99.7 rule, or we can make a normal probability plot. So directions for how to do a normal probability plot on the calculator. If you want to write these directions down, please feel free. Normal probability plot on your graphing calculator. Stat, edit, put your data in list 1. Then you would do second and y equals. You need to turn the graph on. It's the last graph option. And then to see the graph, zoom, and then option 9. That will give you your normal probability plot. And you are looking to make sure that it is fairly linear. So you don't want to see a U-type shape, you don't want to see a J-type shape, you don't want to see curves in that data in the normal probability plot. You should be able to draw in like a line of best fit through that. Needs to be fairly linear, no curves to that. I want you guys to do the check for understanding. They've given you a normal probability plot. I want you guys to decide based on that normal probability plot that they're showing, is this data approximately normal? Why or why not? Take a couple minutes to do that. Mm-hmm. The dots have to line up straight. It doesn't have to be a perfect 45-degree angle. It doesn't have to go like perfectly above and below the x-axis. It just, those dots need to basically be lined up in a straight line. If I see any curving to it, any U shapes, any J shapes, any kind of curve to it, then it's not approximately normal. And there goes my eyeball. So what do we think? Approximately normal or no? No. Why?
Because it's a curved shape.
Yep, right over there, we've got a curve shape. Even on this end, you see how it doesn't line up with the rest of the dots? They're showing that line of best fit in the background. We've got these guys down here, but really, it's this spot over here where it's curving away from that line of best fit. It's not approximately normal if you see a curve like that. So we still have like a good 15 minutes. I want to do some multiple choice practice with some questions that were in AP Classroom. So find either somewhere in your notes or a piece of scratch paper where you can record your answers to these multiple choice questions. Not taking this part for a grade, nothing like that. I'm going to put up some different multiple choice questions one at a time. You come up with your best answer to that. And then I'll tell you the answer and we can talk about it if you're like, wait, how, what? We'll talk about those pieces. My plan for the rest of the week is that tomorrow we're going to do some free response style questions from past AP tests that practice these skills right here. And then Thursday, I would like to do some more multiple choice practice, but depending on how much we get through today, I'll probably have time for questions on Thursday also. So Wednesday after school, I have office hours. I would like to work with you guys if you can stay after school on Wednesday. And then Thursday, I'm going to do my best to do both multiple choice practice and answer some questions off the review. So we'll try to hit both of those pieces.